All right, chat. Welcome back to another late night stream. And honestly, I was not. Oh, what's up, Dakota? Perfect. Thank you. Shout out to you. Shout out for the sub. But yeah, as I was saying, welcome back to another late night stream. First of all, hope you guys enjoy the new camera and everything. I'm still testing out the settings, the brightness, the contrast. I feel it looks good, definitely better than my old camera. It's definitely showing off the beard, which maybe that's definitely one of the reasons why I want to get a camera, just to show off the beard and everything. Because I feel like our old camera, the Logitech C920 webcam that everyone uses like 5-10 years ago, it's the go-to webcam when it comes to YouTube and Twitch. I feel like it wasn't insinuating, that's a word, my beard well enough, so I'm like, let's do this one. 1 full year of subbing. That's also crazy. Yeah, I guess you are right. Because if we play back the tape and we just like roll off memory, in February, March last year, that's when I was making my grind for affiliate. That's when, average viewers on my stream mattered a lot. Where if I was not getting 3-4 average viewers per stream, I wasn't doing it. Doesn't matter what the game was, didn't matter what day it was, what time it was, didn't matter. If it was on a Doki stream, didn't matter, right? My goal was just to hit 3 average viewers every single stream, because that's the one requirement I needed to hit affiliate on Twitch. Because I had the followers a long time ago. I had the watch time requirement. The only thing that I was missing to be a Twitch affiliate was average viewers. Because at the time when I was doing live stream and everything, I didn't care about average viewers or how many viewers I got. I just streamed based off my own time and everything, whenever it was fun, whenever it was convenient for me. I just stream games that I want to play, what I thought was fun, what I want to enjoy, and then take people on the ride, of course. But I didn't care about viewers or anything. But from February, March, that's when I dedicated myself, like, I want to hit Twitch affiliate. I want to be able people to be able to sub to me. I want to be able to have emotes. I want to be able to, take this Twitch stuff more seriously. So yeah, February, March was when we were focused on hitting Twitch affiliate with the average viewer. So yeah. And I think I got the email from Twitch in mid-April, letting me know I was Twitch affiliate. So yeah, it's crazy. It's been a year. It's definitely been quite a year, and it's definitely been a crazy year and a half of reviving Twitch, reviving streaming. Because technically, I've had, this Twitch account, I've streamed for years. I've made this Twitch account, not to give a history lesson, but I guess since I'm talking about it, I've had this Twitch account ever since I opened my YouTube channel under the same name. And that was when I was a freshman? Yeah, freshman in high school. So I've technically had this Twitch account for about a decade. Didn't stream a ton, mainly because all the computers, all the laptops I had, they were not of quality at all. They could not stream at all. The CPU just wasn't powerful enough for it. But hey, times have changed. Look at a decade later. A decade ago, I was not living on my own. I wasn't living in my own place. I wasn't paying my own bills. I didn't have a beard a decade ago. And look where I'm at now. I didn't have tattoos. And then, it's fucking awkward. I didn't have tattoos a decade ago. What is this stream? What is this intro? Why do people watch me? I honestly have no idea why people tolerate my bullshit. But hey, the viewers who are here right now, shout out to you. But yeah. Wait. God damn it. This is not planned for the stream. By the way, we were supposed to do a FNAF reaction to the Into the Mimic trailer that just dropped out of nowhere, by the way. And now I'm showing off my tattoos. Can y'all see it? Damn it. The light and camera doesn't pick it up the best. But yeah, a decade ago, we did not have tattoos. It's crazy. Which, by the way, I am thinking about getting... I guess I don't need the headphones yet. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I have no idea. But I guess on the topic of tattoos, I am thinking about doing more. I definitely want to get more tattoos in the future. Now, that being said, it's nothing like, oh, I'm going to show off a new tattoo like next week or even next month. Or hell, probably not even a tattoo this year. Because if you are someone who has tattoos or has at least researched and getting tattoos, you know how expensive they are. But at the minimum, I definitely want to get my left bicep tattooed. I want to get the outer part of my forearm tattooed on both arms, left and right, because as of now, I just have my inner forearm tattooed. This is my... Can y'all see it? This is the first tattoo I've ever got in my life. So I got the inner forearm tattooed. I do want to get the outer forearm tattooed on both arms, and then I want to get my other shoulder tattooed. And then I think after that, I will be satisfied. I probably won't get any more tattoos for the rest of my life. But yeah, those are plans in the works that I've thought of. It's not anytime soon. I also don't know what I would get for tattoos. I would say the only idea that like comes to mind for like future tattoos. Now, placement, who knows? But I definitely want to get something Naruto or anime related. Probably Naruto related. Just because it signifies like, you know, my introduction, my opening to anime was Naruto. And first of all, shout out to the group for getting me into Naruto and in turn getting me into anime as a whole. So shout out to you, especially shout out to Dakota because he's the one who pushed me. Maybe on the borderline of assaulting me to watch Naruto, but I appreciate it. But not only that, but just how surprisingly real Naruto can get. Just how relatable the story is, how relatable the characters are. Right. Like, I can pinpoint at least 3, maybe 4. At least 3. I can pinpoint at least 3 characters from Naruto that are like me personified, like personality wise, morals wise. Like if I had to be an anime character, if I had to like describe my personality in like an anime character from Naruto, like this is what I would choose, right? Like, for instance, one of the ideas I have for a tattoo for Naruto, if I were to do a Naruto tattoo, would be this guy. Not sure if you guys can see it fully, but you guys can... If you know the show, you know who this is, right? My favorite character in Naruto and also all of anime. Hold on. See, now that I have a better camera, when I show stuff up on stream and everything, you guys can clearly see it. See? And look, there's the background of the stream. Hello, me. Seeing the reflection of the webcam. But yeah, Itachi, 100%. My favorite character in all of Naruto. That is not changing. Also my favorite character in all of anime. Also one of my favorite characters in just all of pop culture. That goes for movies, TV shows, games. Mainly because the relatability aspect for it. Now, I want to purpose this. Itachi's relatable to me, but there's a caveat. There's a caveat because I have not killed people. I want to make that very clear. I have not killed people, nor do I ever plan on killing people. Especially killing my entire clan, slaughtering my family, slaughtering my lover, and traumatizing my younger brother on a Avenger quest. Like, I want to say, like, that is Itachi. This is me, like, total polar opposites. But it's not the killing aspect, it's the reason why. Because I definitely would describe myself as, someone who is selfless and, would definitely sacrifice myself if it came to it. Right? Which, that's, if you ever seen a show, that's why Itachi did what he did. He didn't do it just to be evil for the sake of being evil or just to kill people just because it was fun. He did it as a sacrifice because, it was a hard choice and he did what he had to do. And in that sense, I would describe myself as the same way, where if I had to sacrifice myself to save a family member or whatever, I would do it without a heartbeat. Right? Pun intended, but quite literally, like I would. Like, if, my dad, mom, brother, sister, any of them, if anything came to me saying, we need this life-saving surgery and, you would give up your life in the surgery, but it would cause them to live, I would do it in a heartbeat. 100%. I would do it in a heartbeat because, obviously no one wants to die, right? No one wants to die. But if I had to go out and if I had to choose a way to go out and everything, that is how I would want to go out of this world, is to be remembered as someone who sacrificed their own life for someone else, right? So, anyway, so that is where Itachi and I connect, is we would sacrifice ourselves for others, especially having an eternal love for family and everything. Is Itachi your favorite character, period? If not, what is? Yeah, without a doubt. Well, this is the thing. Itachi, if you ask me favorite Naruto character, Itachi, yes, 1,000%. And it's not even close. Like, second is Kakashi, but to me, it's Kakashi's here, Itachi's here. It's out of frame. And everyone else is down below. Like, I still love Kakashi, don't get me wrong. Like, don't get twisted. Despite me saying Kakashi's too, I still really, 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 really like him. I just like Itachi so much more. By anime-wise, I would say so, because if I go down the other animes I've watched, for MHA, I would say my favorite character is Todoroki. I think Itachi's better. Dragon Ball, I would say it's Vegeta and Future Trunks. Itachi clears. Death Note, I have L. Itachi clears. And then JJK, I guess my favorite character from JJK is Fushiguro. Maybe. Which Itachi definitely clears. So, and I think that's all the animes I've seen. Naruto, Death Note, MHA, JJK, Dragon Ball. Yeah. And I've seen like episode 2 of Demon Slayer, so can't really speak on it. So that's anime-wise, Itachi minimum. And then as far as like anything goes, like other movies, other shows out there, that's a lot harder. Because, you know, then you open up to like a bunch of things. Like, you know, is Itachi better than Spider-Man, for instance? Like, Kid Me refuses to believe that. Like, Kid Me would not accept that because, Spider-Man is literally my entire childhood. Hell, maybe I get a Spider-Man tattoo at one point. Maybe that's one of the tattoos I get in some point in my future is a Spider-Man tattoo just because of how much Spider-Man meant to me as a child. Maybe. Right? So does Itachi clear that? I don't think so. But does that mean Itachi's bad? I also don't think so. Anyway, what is this conversation? I have no idea how we got here, but am I mad or am I complaining about it? Absolutely not. So, this is a fun conversation. I think you learned a lot about me and my moral compass that I would sacrifice myself for other people, lay down my life for them, just like Itachi, and future developments for tattoos where I'm looking to get my outer forearm tattooed since I'm my inner forearm my left, outer and inner my right, shoulder as well, and then probably call it a day. Probably don't have another tattoo the rest of my life. Maybe. But yeah, these tattoo plans, I just want to make that clear again. They are not something that's happening in the next week, the next month, the next year. Like, to me, I'm shutting down the rumors right now. Do not expect me to hop on stream sometime this year and expect to show off a new tattoo because it's not happening. Because once again, if you ever have had tattoos or you research tattoos, you know how expensive they are. So I got a tattoo last year. It was the first tattoo I've gotten in, let's see. First tattoo was 2019. So it's been 5 years. So my first tattoo I ever got was 2019. I just got my second tattoo in 2024. So a 5-year gap. So is that a sign that I get a tattoo once every 5 years? Maybe. Maybe that's just how it works. But yeah, do not expect me. I'm shutting down the rumor. Do not expect me to do any tattoo streams, reveals this year minimum because they are expensive. I wish they weren't, because if they weren't expensive, 100%, I would go tomorrow and get my outer forearm tattooed. And then within like a month or two, I would get my other shoulder tattooed. But that's just not a reality, unfortunately. Is going to be Spider-Man Itachi. I mean, can you blame me? But I feel like that's also not a bad choice between Spider-Man and Itachi. Those are both very, very, very popular and iconic. Especially for someone like me who grew up in the 2000s. Like, I feel like that's very respectable. Like, let me be clear that my introduction to Spider-Man was the Tobey Maguire films from like 2002. So, literally my childhood. So you can believe, best believe, when No Way Home came out and Tobey Maguire was there, and then as well as like Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, I was hyped because this movie is literally made for me because this is literally my childhood incarnated. All right, so let's at least get to the topic of the stream, which is reacting to the surprising release trailer, I think. At least my opinion was a surprise. The new FNAF game, Secret or Truth of the Mimic. And I also want to make it clear, I guess for spoiler reasons, I have already seen this trailer once before I turn the camera on. I've already seen this trailer. So what we're going to do is we are going to first just play through the trailer just straight through. No cuts, no pauses, no talk or anything. And then after the trailer's over, then we're going to go frame by frame and then talk about and give my thoughts and everything, because I don't know if some people haven't seen the trailer because it was only released a few hours ago. So we're going to just play through the trailer and then give my thoughts afterwards. But yeah, I already seen this trailer once just to see what the trailer's all about and everything, because I want to put some of my thoughts together before I turn the camera on, because as you can see by the intro, we've already been streaming for 20 minutes. I tend to ramble, especially when it comes to FNAF. So I want to get my thoughts together before I turn the camera on. So this is the disclaimer, opening trailer for just coming and everything. We're just watching the trailer straight through, and then we'll be going frame by frame afterwards. All right, here we go. Oh, can you guys not hear it? Ah, damn it, hold on. Hold on. Capture audio. It should be captured. Is there supposed to be sound? There is. Hold on. What is going on? Hold on. Okay, chat, hold on. We're having technical difficulties, but hey, that's just what happens when you have a late night stream. Hold on. Okay.
Slim but non-zero chance that you could sustain significant injury.
Okay. It should be playing audio now. Chat, let me know. Because I just skipped through, halfway through. I did see the waveforms in OBS. Chat, let me know. Because this is weird. Because I'm using the same overlay setup that we did for the previous FNAF reaction where we talked about the identity of the FNAF 4 crime child. Nothing changed on OBS, so I have no idea why the video's just not playing audio. We good? Okay, perfect. All right. Ignore that. Take two. All right. Like I said, we are going to be watching this trailer, just one run through, and then we'll be going frame by frame. All right. So pretend the last 2 minutes didn't happen. All right, here we go for real this time.
So let me explain the situation. One of our contractors, Edwin Murray, has gone missing, leaving our property abandoned in his warehouse. Your job is simple. Enter the warehouse and retrieve the technology that he was developing for us. It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character. We suspect it may be malfunctioning, so just be aware of the slim but non-zero chance that you could sustain significant injuries while attempting to retrieve it, including but not limited to death or dismemberment. We fully expect the retrieval process to go smoothly and without incident, but just in case, we suggest you get your affairs in order before arriving. Back to work. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
PlayStation.
And as you saw right there, chat, June 13th, this game comes out. So I am currently recording this at 11:30 p.m. on February 13th. So we quite literally are 4 months to the day away from this game coming out, which is insane that we are so close to this game coming out. I'm excited for it. I want to stream it. I also want to stream Into the Pit. I know. I do want to stream Into the Pit as well, especially how people talked about it, how people say it's their favorite FNAF game ever since VR Help Wanted, the first one, because it was the first time that FNAF was in VR. So I do want to play Into the Pit as well, but 4 months away from this. Nice. Holy W, both have games coming out at almost the exact same time. What is it? Dakota, what games are coming out for you? Because obviously, you're not into the FNAF lore, the FNAF universe like I am, because it's fine. People have their own interests and everything. So chances are you won't play this game, unfortunately, especially on stream, but that's okay. So what's coming out for June for you? I wonder. Okay, so that's a trailer. We just ran through and everything. Now we're going to go frame by frame and analyze it. And this is why, once again, I wanted to watch the trailer on my own time before I turn the camera on and everything, because I wanted to put my thoughts together before I went frame by frame, because I didn't want to misremember something, because there's a lot. Shocker, when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's, there's a lot to talk about and there's a lot to remember, especially when this game is based off of one of the 50-something book chronicle stories out there. This game's based on one of them. So excuse me for wanting to refresh my memory on stuff before I dive in and react to this, because there's a lot to keep track of. Elden Ring releases... Oh, W. All right. So, frame by frame. All right. So, here we go. So, like I said, going frame by frame. As you can see, the sheep for steel wool, their eye changes to orange. We know that the orange eye color is the same as the Mimic. That's what we saw from Ruin. In case it wasn't clear enough that this game was based off the Mimic, the enemy we turn out to get tricked by in the end of Ruin. Okay, now this is something that I want to talk about, and this is one of the reasons. Once again, I want to make sure I refresh my memory, so I don't misremember or misinterpret things. Now, there's two ways you can look at this. You can say, oh, it's a cutscene of a car driving down the road. And that probably is what it is. But when the Secret of the Mimic game is based off the Mimic, which, once again, the Mimic comes from the books, you know in the story, seeing a car drive down a road is very important. It's just the universe we're talking about here. So, all right, let's dive in. So, in the book, the Fazer Fights books that the Mimic is based on, once again, recap of everything. There's a genius inventor named Edwin who creates the Mimic software, and Edwin, we like to say, is a stand-in for Henry, who is the book stand-in for the game stand-in of Henry. And we know Henry is the business partner of William Afton, who is the purple guy, the killer that creates this whole thing, blah, 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 blah. You know, timeline. Right? So Edwin creates the Mimic software because Edwin has a son, David, who is, I think, 4? I want to say he's 4 years old. And, you know, that is good and bad in the worst ways possible because Edwin's son, David, is very as a 4-year-old, he's very impressionable. He wants a ton of attention. But since Edwin is an inventor for animatronics, he doesn't have the time to spend with his son. So what he does is he constructs a robot, the Mimic software, to use as a stand-in for David to play with. So then David is occupied, so then Edwin can go back to his work. Because Edwin's job is an inventor. His whole job is turning mascot animal costumes into robot animatronics. That's his job. So he creates a Mimic software to occupy his son while he can go back to work and everything. So then everyone wins. And because it's quite literally a mimic that is literal, right? It's not figurative, it's literally a mimic. Where the mimic robot mimics everything that David does. And David loves it, right? Then one day, David runs out in the middle of the road and gets killed by a car. Right? He gets killed by a car. And because the robot mimic does, well, mimic, a robot does what it does. Because the robot is mimicking everything that David did, because guess what? That's what it was programmed to do. Edwin is horrified by grief and anger that this robot mimic creation he made to occupy his son is now mimicking his son, because once again, that's the mimic, that's the program, right? It's copying what David did. That causes Edwin to lash out with a pipe and beat the living heck out of the robot mimic, and then abandons it in the factory, leaves the mimic to die and everything. And it seems like that is what this game's gonna do, is we are going back to that factory and then see the mimic after it was broken. Right? It seems like, based on the trailer and everything, that's what we're doing. So, once again, you see this car, it's a simple, innocent cutscene and everything, but since we know a car driving the road with the mimic is very important, I want to call that out. Right? I want to call that out. So, once again, it's just something to think about as we are getting closer and closer to this game's release.
So let me explain the situation.
Also, as you can see, it's Fazbear Entertainment, not Fredbear's Family Diner, not Freddy Fazbear's Pizza or anything, which means this is very, very early on the timeline, which we know the Mimic software was created very, very early on. It's very possible the Mimic software predated all the animatronics, right? Hell, even predated Fredbear's Family Diner, which had the Golden Bonnie and Golden Freddy, which we see in FNAF 4 and then for the FNAF 3 minigames, right? So, Fazbear Entertainment doesn't have the Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica yet. So this is very early on the timeline. That's why you see balloons, which once again is a clown circus theme, which we've also assumed that Sister Location is very early on the timeline, which is why you have people like me who believe Elizabeth Afton getting scooped by Baby has to be one of the first events in the series, because that's why the circus Baby clown theme, that's why it's so early on the timeline.
One of our contractors, Edwin Murray, has gone missing.
Edwin Murray, by name, has gone missing.
Leaving our property abandoned in his warehouse.
Yep, I was right. We are indeed going to his factory where he created the mimic.
Your job is simple. Enter the warehouse and retrieve the technology.
Okay, so this is obviously a security room. I wonder if it's going to be a lot like Security Breach, where we have very classic FNAF gameplay, where you have to operate the cameras, you have to shut doors, conserve power, and then wait like a certain time to like advance through the level and everything. I wonder if this is just another incarnation of that, which if so, that's going to be cool. Let's see. Other things I want to call attention to this poster. It says, "Don't be late. Late employees are subject to fines and or punishment." Well, if you work for Freddy Fazbear's, I can pretty accurately have a very good educated guess of what a punishment is by Fazbear Entertainment. 12 o'clock, so it's probably 12 a.m., which once again does go back to my theory of we'll probably be doing those like security mini games from Security Breach, where we wait for a certain time, we close doors as a resource management game, which is, in my opinion, my favorite thing from Security Breach is those security games. Everything else is just bad because it doesn't feel like FNAF at all. I'm trying to see what else. Old monitors. Is this a window to the factory? I wonder. This brown box, I wonder if this is where we hear Hand Unit Cassette Man, Andy Field again. What is also really weird because apparently, if I'm not mistaken, the book, I'm going to keep mentioning it, but the book where the Mimic takes place, where it originates from, it's from the 70s, which is very, very, very early on the timeline. And if I'm not mistaken, the earliest game in the series. Because previously we've heard of 1983 from FNAF 4, 1985 from Into the Pit, 1987 from FNAF 2, FNAF 1, 1993 possibly, and then like Security Breach of Pizza Plus is like 2023. So having a game in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, it's the earliest game in the series, which is kind of cool.
That he was developing for us. It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character. We suspect it may be malfunctioning, so just be aware of the slim.
As you can see, you have a white tiger. You don't see it, but you see the blue eye, which obviously says Tiger Rock. A giant white tiger, one blue eye and one green eye. Because that makes sense. You know what? At this point, why not throw in a giant white tiger with two different eyes? And then at this point, why not make the interpretation like, hey, you have someone like Baby, who has blue eyes, the baby animatronic, but then Elizabeth Afton has green eyes. And then when Elizabeth Afton gets scooped by Baby, their eyes go from blue to green. And therefore, the Tiger Rock plushie, the white tiger with blue eyes and green eyes, must be connected to Elizabeth Afton and Baby. And that's why you see Baby plushies in Ruin. Because this timeline, this franchise is very, 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 very simple to comprehend and understand.
But non-zero chance that you could sustain significant injuries while attempting to retrieve it, including but not limited to death or dismemberment. We fully expect the retrieval process to go smoothly and without incident. But just in case, we suggest you get your affairs in order before arriving.
So those red eyes right there, I'm assuming, is that this game's Mimic, right? Is that this game's Mimic? Because, hold on one second. Can I pull this up? FNAF Mimic. Because I want to show you what the Mimic looked like in Ruin. This is to show there's just a few things that are slightly different. Right? Just a few. All right, let's see. I'm going to pull it up, if it will let me. Image. Oh, where did it save? Oh, God. This is awkward. You know what? I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to take a snippet. Screenshot. Cool. All right. Sorry for the pause. But if I pull up the Mimic, so yeah, this guy right here. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, as you can see, this is what the Mimic looked like, the white image on the screen. At least I hope you guys can see that. You guys should be able to. Okay. That... hold up. That was the Mimic from Ruin. As you can see, the eyes are slightly different. In Ruin, it's just a solid, like, white-yellow orb, like a light bulb. Whereas here, it's more of, like, a spiral. People have referenced, it looks like those stovetops where you have the, like, rain around the center, and as the stovetop heats up, it turns red, kind of like that. And honestly, I can't unsee that, because my stovetop I'm looking at right now in my kitchen, I have those exact stovetops, so I know exactly what that looks like. So I wonder if this is a redesign, if it's a new character, it's not the Mimic at all. It's just interesting. All right, and goodbye, Mimic. All right, let us continue on, going frame by frame. Okay, so this guy right here, according to the people who played the demo version of this game at PAX, they say this guy is a male bot. So I don't know if he's a lot like the staff and map bots from Security Breach, but I would not be surprised if it's the same vibe. Where, hey, similar to Mapbot, where he jump scares you with the worst jump scare in the entire series from Mapbot, maybe he jump scares you and gives you that red-blue present? Maybe? Would not surprise me if that's what happens. And then the red, blue present and everything, obviously is very reminiscent of Security Breach and Ruin, where you either have BS collectibles like shirts and popsicles and keychains, where it's just a collector's item. It's just to, you know, hey, I'm collecting things and maybe I can 100% collect all the items in the game, right? But then on the flip side, there's also lore and Easter eggs and very important stuff in those boxes as well, which, I'll be honest, that was one of my least favorite things about Security Breach, were the present mechanic, because you did not differentiate things at all, right? Because maybe it's just me, but as a player, if I'm going through the entire Pizza Plex And 4 or 5 presents in a row I open, and they're just, once again, just BS collectibles just to, give me some like collection achievement. Like, oh, you collected X amount of items from the game and everything, but doesn't change the story, doesn't change anything. It's just a collector's item. Then I don't really care about some collector's achievement, right? So as a player, I'm going to ignore those presents because whenever I see them, I'll be like, oh, this is just another one of those BS presents that is just for an achievement. But turns out there's a lot of presents out there that you want to open because they are there to help you beat the game, right? Like, for instance, in the room where you are in the elevator, then kidnapped by Vanessa's security guard, and then you are tied in the chair, and that's when you first meet Vanny. There is a present in that room that you open that gets you a screwdriver that allows you to open the vent and then leave. And obviously, if you don't in time, you die, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, you have this present mechanic where 80 to 90% of the presents in that game are useless collect items. 10% of those, also in presents, is very important. So maybe it's just me, but I personally had a nitpick of the present mechanic. At least like change the color where it's like, oh, all the red presents with a blue tie, these are collector's items where it's like, if you want to open them for an achievement, you can. And then maybe boxes in green are ones where it's actually important to the story. Like, do something like that, differentiate. But to my best of knowledge, the presents look the exact same, whether it was a collector's item that didn't mean anything and something for the story that helped you beat the game. But would not shock me if this present right here had some lore Easter eggs. Maybe it goes a step further and takes certain endings from maybe Help 1 and 2, and it's like, hey, some endings in Help 1 and 2 weren't canon, like how it did with Security Breach and Ruin. Wouldn't surprise me, Steel Wool. But hey, if that is actually what it is, and that actually is what's in the present, you know where you heard it from. So that's another close-up look of the Tiger Rock animatronic we saw earlier. This time we can see both eyes this time. The blue and green of the big, giant, white tiger plush we said earlier. Okay, so this I want to talk about. There's 2 big things, and they happen very, very quickly. Number 1. Look at the item we put in that machine. And it's very blink and you miss it, I know. But there are 2 prongs on this little device before you stick it in everything, which is very reminiscent of the Faz wrench from Ruin, which we know from dialogue from Cassie in Ruin. We know that her dad was a technician, and those wrenches are for Fazbear technicians, right? So is this just an earlier version of the wrench we would later see Cassie's dad have, and then Cassie later see in Ruin? Like, this is just a very early model, because this game takes place in the 70s, and if I'm not mistaken, Pizza Place takes place in like the 2023 or something like that. So this is a very early on model of the wrench. And if we look at the dashboard bots little buttons, you have a green check bots. No idea what that means. Now, do these buttons mean anything, or are they just there for design? It's probably the latter one. But it's interesting how this is it seems like this is a very early on version of the Fazbear Technician wrench that we see in Help 1 and 2 and Ruin. Right? It's very interesting. And then it's a blink and you miss a moment, but then you get to this. So us turning I'm going to call it a Faz wrench because I don't know what else to call it. We turn the Faz wrench and this monitor turns on Helper. Terminal 0.00. Welcome show subterminal. Please select an option below. Reset welcome show and missing executive access. That's interesting. But Helper. Not helpy and also not helpy. I know that's very confusing. So let me explain. There's two different versions of helpy. Even though they are the exact same character, exact same sounding of the name and everything, there's two different helpies. There's the helpy from the like main menu in FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator, where you're going through the menu and he's like your little like icon. Whenever you buy something, he jumps in the air. It's very cute, right? And then he's also on like Ultimate Custom Night as a noise jump scare, right? That's helpy within the Y, right? Helpy with the Y, Helpy. That's that helpy. Another helpy is the one we see in Ruin and in Help Wanted 2. And it's never been confirmed because, let's face it, nothing ever gets confirmed in this series. But that helpy is different because it's spelled Helpi, right? And to take a step further, that's like an evil version of helpy because he's attached to the Mimic software, and that's why we first see in Ruin, helpy is, working alongside, working in cahoots with the Mimic to trick Cassie. Encouraging you to put on the Fazbear Vanny mask in Ruin for Cassie to put the mask on to become the new Vanny and everything. That's why. Because that helpy with an I is connected to the AR world and the Mimic software. So far, and people have gone on record saying that helpy is like an upgraded version of the Mimic software that we deal with in this game. Like helpy is like an upgraded version, like a software update. I don't know if I would go that far, but I know there are some people who think that, and there's definitely evidence that point to it. Because also in Help 1 and 2, when you get the, I guess, bad ending, the normal ending, where you play through the game normally, you collect all the, is it Sits? Freddy, Fozzie, Bonnie, Chica, Golden Freddy. I think it is Sit. Yeah. The Lego Power Rangers action figures that you get through completing minigames and everything. When you collect them all, you're taken to a cutscene where you see the birthing pod power-up chamber from Security Breach. You see the door open, and you see glitch traps like fingers coming out of the door and everything. And then you're swarmed in by the nightmare staff bots that you saw in Security Breach in the ending. And then you are taken to a screen where you are now a staff bot. You're now in the view of a staff bot, and you are handing the Vanessa Vanny mask to Cassie at the beginning of Ruin. Right? You, as a father, hand your daughter this mask to have her be corrupted by this evil software to be a killer possessed by a serial killer. Right? I bring all that up. I know what you're thinking. Why does that make any sense? Why does it bring all that up? Because after that cutscene and everything, you're taken back to the hub world of Help 1 and 2 in the pizzeria, the burned down FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator. You look up the screen, Helpy is no longer there. He's on the screen the entire game, but once you get that ending and you hand the Vanny mask to Cassie as the bad ending, I guess, Helpy's gone. He's no longer there. What's on the screen replaces it is the FNAF Sits kid advertisements that you saw in the beginning of FNAF Sits before you go into game and everything, before you go into your pizzeria simulator. It's replaced by those screens. So there's multiple Helpies out. So now there's a third version of Helpy, and now it's Helper. Now, are you good? Are you bad? Who knows? I also want to look this up since drawn by Helpy. Have we ever got a meaning for Helpy? Like, have we ever figured out what it stands for? Because I know in Ruin, Vanny stood for the Virtual Augmented Neural Network Integration. And that's why the oximeter chip that Cassie gets ingrained in Ruin, they are able to merge the real world and the AR world because the virtual augmented reality, the network, and they are integrated into the network. Helpy abbreviation meaning. I don't think we ever got what it stood for. It doesn't seem like it. I hope that we get an answer to this because this is important, at least to me. That's interesting. Man, can lore hunters really find that out? Because I don't know about you, but I want to answer this question. Right. We got a meaning for the Vanny, right? The virtual augmented neural network integration. Like, we got to answer that. What does Helpy stand for? And follow up, what does Helper stand for? I want to know. But more importantly, yeah, I do want to know, is he a good guy or bad guy? Because there's a personality of Helpy that's good and there's not. And the bad one is solely connected to the Mimic. I don't know if he's possessed by the Mimic. I don't know if it's a software update version of the Mimic. It's hard to say. But Helpy and the Mimic are connected, right, in some way, which makes things very sus. Okay, what are you? You look like a nurse? A nurse character? Name is Dolly. Dollie. It's, sorry, the The last two letters are very hard to read. So you're Dolly. Huh. And that's interesting because if you remember in FNAF VR2, I don't know what else to call it. There's so many names out there. But FNAF VR2, in the Save and Helpy like medical minigame, there was a random female nurse voice that we never got an answer for. Is that you? Are you that voice? Because once again, wherever Helpy goes, other people follow. Are you that voice? Okay, now it looks like we are winding up some rat toy, some like spin. It's like those old-fashioned cars where you spin the dial and it runs around, but it only drives like less than an inch before it runs out of juice and everything. So throwing this rat, I'm assuming it's a noise distraction for the Mimic. Houston concert exclusive to the game. Well, hello. Hello, my guy. Hello. That's Music Man. Hello, Music Man.
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
Secret of the Mimic, and June 13, 2025. Now, I want to see this. Can I go as slow as possible? Because Music Man just randomly stumbles in a party, crashes everything through the roof. And he's ginormous. I mean, he was already big in Ruin and everything. The giant spider creature from Security Breach and everything. He's already big. He wasn't crashing through the roof big. Look at that. How big are you? Do you really need to be that big, Music Man? I know you're iconic and you are the true star of the show and everything, but does Music Man really need to be that big? I don't think so. But yeah, a Music Man appearance. I will always appreciate a Music Man appearance.
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
Also, knowing FNAF, did they hide something in this little like highlight film reel?
Property or person. Thank you for being a valued member of the
Right.
Fazbear team.
I don't see anything. What is that, chat? What am I looking at? Yeah. Okay. So that's the secret of the Mimic trailer. Definitely way more in-depth trailer than what we previously got. This showed a lot more of the environment and honestly a little bit more of the gameplay than I was expecting. But I'm definitely excited for it. It's crazy to think that we are literally 4 months away from another FNAF game. So I guess be prepared for more FNAF talk throughout this year. Whether that's, continuing, reacting to trailers for Secret of the Mimic, news from Secret of the Mimic, reacting to theories or videos of the game and everything, maybe playing the game for ourselves. And then you have to remember, like, way down the line, right? It's crazy, though. But way down the line, don't forget, the FNAF 2 movie's coming out December 5th of this year. So, we're talking about trailers. Blumhouse Productions dropped that first teaser trailer of the FNAF 2 movie, right? Please drop that. Just please drop that first teaser for the FNAF 2 movie, right? If I had to guess, if I'm being honest, if the movie's coming out in December, I'm willing to guess that the first trailer we see of FNAF 2 is July? That sounds right. Maybe like, I would go on the record saying like the first like teaser trailer we get is like July, August. And then the second trailer we get is like maybe like October. Or yeah, maybe like around Halloween is the second trailer we get, right? I would say that's pretty reasonable. At least that's my opinion. That's my timeline of events and everything. Don't call me to it. But that's at least my interpretation of when we could see the first trailer for the FNAF 2 movie. And you can bet we'll be doing the same thing as we are doing right now, where we play through the trailer normally. Hopefully we don't have the audio issues later on. And then go frame by frame and react to it and give our thoughts throughout. But great trailer. Looking forward to Secret Mimic seeing everything that comes out of this game, whether that's the actual game itself, theories before the game, throughout people reacting to the trailers and everything, trying to find even more Easter eggs than I could even find, because what I'm willing to admit that, yes, I know a good amount about the series. I have a vast knowledge just because I've been around since the beginning of the series started in 2014, and I've stuck around. But like I've said on previous streams, I haven't read any of the books. I reference the books because other people have talked about it in their theories, and I'm inclined to believe what they say because they have a lot of compelling evidence. I'm like, that's interesting. And obviously when it comes to like the recent games, whether you look at this game with the Secret Truth of the Mimic, and then you also look at Into the Pit as well, where we have more recent FNAF games that are directly tied to books. Right? So it seems like talking about the books when it comes to the timeline, the universe, when it comes to theories, trying to find answers, trying to find clues, having a solid understanding of what the series is as a whole and everything, it seems like the books are more important than ever now that we're getting games directly based on the books. So it's interesting. But yeah, I think I said all my thoughts in the trailer. I just can't wait to see what happens with this game and everything. Can't wait to see people play it. Can't wait to see people talk about it and what theories come out of this game and everything. Because, yeah, I would say I have a lot of questions still about the Mimic. Like, people say, similar to the Helpy thing again. Like, people say that Helpy and the Mimic, and maybe even Glitch Trap, are all connected. They're all mimics. They're all software entities tied to the Mimic software that Edwin created. And then there are evolved versions of that. Right. I want answers. I want to know what is a mimic and what's not a mimic. What about the Mimic software makes something a mimic? Right. Hopefully this game answers that, but probably not. And we still will be answering that question of what makes a mimic, what makes not a mimic, years down the line, most likely, just knowing this series. Like, how many times do we actually get solid, concrete answers to anything? The only time I can think of is in FNAF 6, where we get answers to, like, the scooper and how Remnant works and everything. But you have to remember that was a time where we thought FNAF 6 was the final game in the series. And that's why we got solid, concrete answers. Is we thought that's when the series was going to end. So I would like to know more about the Mimic ultimately know the ins and outs of the software. That is a hopefully not a pipe dream scenario. Go into this game and everything. Like I said, another one. I would like to know what the abbreviation to Helpy is. Considering no one was asking for it, but we actually got an abbreviation meaning for Vanny. I would like to see the same thing for Helpy. Now that we got 3 different versions of Helpy, all different names, I want to know, are they different? Are they the same? Are they different versions? Right? Different upgrades? More or less the same character, but some code is different here and there, and that's what makes them different. Like, I want to know what Helpy is. All right? I want to know what Helpy is. So yeah, a lot of FNAF stuff in the future, which me personally, I am excited for.